Hey, I'm going to teach you Ted's secret to great public speaking. Hey, it's Ted McGrath, and right now I'm going to teach you Ted's secret to great public speaking. And I've got this free gift for you right here on the secret to public speaking. So whether you're a speaker right now or you're thinking about becoming a speaker, I got the secret for you. Now you might be wondering, is this complex? Is it a formula of how you should speak? It's actually really simple. The secret to public speaking is find your own style. Now there's lots of speakers out there that you might watch and you might want to emulate, right? Because when you first learn to speak, you probably watch somebody on stage and you're like, I should do what they're going to do. But the truth is, there's only one way to do it for you, and that's your way. So some speakers get up on stage and they use teleprompters, and that works for them because they get to read off something and they can communicate a message. To me, I don't like it at all. I think it's restricting. It's not my style. In fact, I'm a stage speaker, so even being in front of this camera, you can tell I'm moving all the time. I like to move around. Some people will tell you when you're on stage, like, keep your hands behind your back or keep them here. I think that is the biggest bunch of BS ever. If you're doing this and it's natural and somebody thinks it's a good public speaking technique, which I would have no idea if it's not or it is, because I haven't studied public speaking. I've just done public speaking, right? So if somebody says this is a good public speaking tip to do this and you feel really awkward doing it, it's not a good public speaking tip. You see? So if somebody says moving around isn't good for speakers to move around, well, what if you're moving around and you have a flow on stage and you're very flowy and you keep people in sync with you as you're moving and you go into the flow of the line and the flow of the story? Well, that would be good public speaking. So there's many opinions out there of what makes a good public speaker. And I'm sure there's a way to do it for people who want to learn. But I'm going to teach you through my life experience of doing and what I've learned the most about myself. When I go lead a 4-day seminar, you know what I do? You know how I teach my content? I actually get up in front of the audience and I ask them what they want to learn. And then I take notes on what they want to learn in my head. And I listen for the most important things that I think are important. I hear from the audience of what they think is important, and I speak for 4 days. That's how I do my seminars. Now, I know my content well because I have mastery over it, but shouldn't all speakers know their content? If you're going to get up and speak about something, you should know it. If you don't know it, don't speak about it. So if you know something, why would you ever need a teleprompter? If you know something, why would you actually ever need notes? If you know your material, the truth is I never look at a note ever on stage. The only reason I ever use a PowerPoint is so the audience has a visual and it helps them because I hate PowerPoints. Now this is probably going to be counter to what a lot of people will tell you about speaking. I don't like to speak with props. I don't like them. I only use them for the audience because it's good for the audience to see something so they have a mass on the thing that they're looking at, like, oh, here's what Ted's talking about, here's the step, and they can read it. And maybe if they missed what I said, it's right there on the screen and they can go read it. But I can tell you, I've sold packages from the stage over $200,000. I've sold packages over $200,000 from a stage and made an offer that people have bought. I've sold packages for $1,000 from the stage. I've spoke to audiences of 600-700 people at a time. And I can tell you that my style, when I'm using the style that's most natural to me, that's what moves the audience. The moment I get away from my style, which clearly is freewheeling and just speaking, the moment I get away, I get bored, and then the audience gets bored. So if I have too much structure in my speaking and I'm not feeling into what I should say, I naturally get bored, my energy drops, and then the audience drops. So what I'm looking for is the style and the movement on stage for me that's the most effective. And one of the things that I do on stage is I will move in a certain way that keeps the flowing of the discussion going, and I'll flow into the audience. So my communication is not just me up there on stage speaking, but I'll actually walk into the audience and ask somebody in the middle of my speech, what are you thinking right now? And I'll communicate with the audience. So there's speakers who will get up on the stage and they'll just talk. But I like to go into the audience and just talk to somebody around the audience. I was in Japan once, 600 people, translator on stage. Right in the middle of the talk, I felt like I needed to connect with the audience. I walked right out in the audience. I brought the translator with me. I started coaching this woman right in the middle of the audience in Japan. Formed a connection with her, started to connect with the whole audience, and once I felt the connection was there, I got back to my inspirational speaking. So there's different modes of speaking. Some people are inspiring speakers where they can get up in front of the stage and they can move an audience. I'm one of those speakers. Some people are coaching speakers. I'm one of those speakers too when I need to be. Where I go out in the audience and I'm sharing something and I want to coach somebody on something, or I want to connect with them on something to connect the audience and get a point across. Some people are structured speakers where they get up on stage and they're going to teach you bullet points like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I only do that for my audience because I feel they need steps sometime. I hate it. I don't like to speak that way. Because for me to speak that way, I have to go, okay, I got to go in order here. And I don't like going in order when I want to give an inspirational speech. I want to speak from a place of emotion. I want to speak from a place of inspiration. I want to speak from a place of knowing my information, giving the people my information, and I'm also a storytelling speaker. So I tell stories. So there's different styles and you can use all of them, and that's the cool thing. So if you're a structured speaker, teach people step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can do that too, but you know when I'm the best teaching people? After I've told a story. Because the story gets the momentum of the crowd going. So the crowd's like, yes, and they're open to receive it, and then I can go in and I can flow into my steps, which isn't my most natural teaching style. However, when I told a story and I got the audience and they're inspired, then I can flow in with that energy into the steps and teach them something. So there's different kinds of speakers. Now, I think a great speaker can do all of them. Right? Because there's a time and place to be that inspiring speaker where you want to uplift the room. There's a time and place to be that structured speaker where you're going to go step by step and teach them something because you want them to go implement something. There's a time where you're a storytelling speaker where you tell a story to get a point across and make it human to the audience. There's a time and place where you're also a coaching speaker where you're going to go out into the audience and you're going to coach people and you're going to connect with them so you get that audience engagement and interaction. There's all kinds of different ways to communicate from that stage. Now, my advice to you is use all of them. A truly great speaker has no limits, actually. If I wanted to do a teleprompter when I had to do one, I did it. And I did it well. So a great speaker adapts to the actual environment of what's taking place in the audience. They read the audience, they feed off their audience, and they use stories, and they use inspiration, and they use coaching, and they use structure, and they use all these things so that they can penetrate and they can actually deliver the message to the audience. Because one of the greatest keys of public speaking, on top of having your own style, is making sure the message gets across. If you communicate a message well, people will get it. But how do you communicate a message powerfully? It's not just by getting up on stage and saying the words. See, you have to use your movement on stage. You have to use your body to communicate. If you just stood there like this and you communicated just like this, you're not using your entire beingness to get the message across. Sometimes you will jump into the audience and penetrate the audience with the movement of your body. I was on stage one time, it was the middle of a sale, and I was going through the PowerPoint on the sale because I told you I don't really like PowerPoints, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do this for the audience. And as I was going through the PowerPoint, all of a sudden I felt really restricted. So I ran into the audience and I went, ah! And this woman jumped out of the front, ah! Screamed in the front row, and she started laughing hysterically right in the middle of a sale. I was making an offer. Why did I do that? I did that because I needed to mix up the energy. I could feel the energy dropping. So my natural instinct was just respond, right? Do something that felt natural. The audience laughed, everybody joked, and it was one of the best sales from that point out. But what I was trying to do is put myself into a box. I was trying to do what I thought I needed to do, was hit the PowerPoint, hit the slides, hit the things. And I noticed I felt restricted. So let me get myself into a place of power, then I'll come back and hit that thing. But if I'm feeling out of my element on stage, I need to move, I need to do something, I need to react, right? So using your knowingness on stage and that instinct that you have to do something, but you might go to yourself, well, I wasn't taught that way, so I should put my hands right here. Or you might go, well, I was taught to use a PowerPoint, so you always got to use a PowerPoint on stage. Who cares about the way you're taught? You need to learn the way that is best for you, because speaking is an art. So you need to understand, how is it best delivered from you? How are you going to get your message across the best? What is your style? Once you know your style, then you can integrate different learnings and teachings that you get into that style, but not the other way around. I wouldn't take the teachings and then find your style. I would find your style first, and then I would take lessons and teachings and things that you've observed and integrate them in there. Because once you have your style, you're you. But if you don't have your style, then you're somebody else. The greatest thing you can possibly do is learn how to be yourself on stage. Because when you have your own style, you're authentic, you come across to the audience feels your authenticity, they know when you're coming from a place of knowing versus I'm coming from my notes, right? Watch a speaker. Watch your next speaker that you see. Watch a person who reads from their notes, okay, or has to read from a podium. Watch somebody who reads from a teleprompter, and then watch somebody who just speaks. You will have a completely different experience if you watch somebody who speaks powerfully, who also has the same powerful message, because you can have somebody who is reading off something, who has a powerful message and it communicates, but watch a different person with that same talk, but they're actually not reading off anything. And you will find the experience totally and completely different than the person who's reading off something. So speaking comes from your style, your art form, and then from that place, you will communicate the message in a powerful way. Now, of course, you have to have a message that's powerful. You have to have information that's useful. But your style, when you bring it out and you bring out you fully, is going to impinge upon people much more powerfully when you're being yourself, delivering that powerful message versus delivering a powerful message, trying to use all these techniques that aren't really you. So my advice for you today, Ted's secret is really simple. The only way to truly figure out your style is one, go do it. You'll start to navigate and feel what feels right and what doesn't feel right for you, okay? Two is kind of tap in while you're up there of like, okay, while I'm up there, just observe yourself a little bit as you're doing it and go, oh, wow, that felt really good. That felt really good. And you'll start to pick up how you get into your power as a speaker, all right? I know for me, the moment that I'm feeling in a certain way restricted, I just raise the energy. That's it. I just turn up the energy in the room because I know just by turning up the energy, I'll get more energy. And then from that energy, I'll get into a place of inspiration. So my ultimate goal is to inspire people from the stage. All right? So there's a little bit of a balance there when you're teaching, because teaching is a little bit, when you're teaching, you got to teach points and it's a little linear. So you use the teaching speaker and use the inspired speaker and you put them together and you're going to have a great formula. Okay? So I hope this served you. I hope you enjoyed the information that you're getting. I believe that you have a voice that can change the world. I believe that you have a style inside of you that's unique to you and nobody else on the face of the planet has it. And if you trust in that style, if you allow that style to come out, guess what? You're going to change the world with your voice, because that voice is powerful. It resonates and you got a message, right? And you got to hone that message, fine tune that message, know what you want to say to people. Get up there and let that style come through, and that message will connect with people in the audience like you never thought possible, and you will change the world with your very words. You have that power, my friend. Step in, own your voice, but own your style more importantly, because that's the secret of the day. I hope this serves you. Don't forget the gift, the secret to public speaking. It's right here. If you want to be a master, follow the formula within your unique style. Bring your style out. Subscribe to this channel. I hope you like this video. There's more videos. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to this channel. You're going to love it. And also, if you liked what I had to share, and we're vibing right now on this thing, we're developing a relationship, I'd love for you to serve me back and like this video so more people can get out there and see this message, and we can have more people changing the world with their voice and with their own unique style, because we need more unique styles in this universe. You've got one. Bring it out. Make sure also that you do one more thing. Ask a question down below. Asking that question could be the very thing that creates the bond between you and I, to where I help you speak and change the world with your voice. I'll see you soon, my friend.